My ex-girlfriend mocked me for not even being able to come up with a bride price of $600,000. A female coworker immediately jumped in to save my dignity. How could that be? George even bought me a Porsche. I panicked instantly. Miss, that lie is way too huge. I literally rode here on a tiny electric scooter. If they expose me later, where am I supposed to put my face? Sure enough, when my coworker and I walked out of the cafe, my ex looked at me suspiciously and sneered. My coworker directly pulled out a car key, unlocked the car, and dragged me inside in one smooth motion. I stared at the Porsche logo on the steering wheel and completely froze. Wait, gorgeous, you actually own one? Of course, bro, of course I do. Chapter 1. Sophia's best friend got married, and proudly announced that the groom had paid a bride price of $300,000. So Sophia immediately started demanding that I give her a bride price of $600,000. My looks and body are way better than Maria's. If she got $300,000, then me asking for $600,000 is perfectly reasonable, right? I replied. Yeah, your looks and figure are better than Maria's, but I really can't come up with $600,000 for the bride price, she said unhappily. Sounds to me like you just can't bear to spend it. Whether I can bear it or not isn't the point. I genuinely don't have $600,000. So you think I'm not worth $600,000? Whether you're worth it or not isn't the point. I genuinely don't have $600,000. You keep repeating the same sentence over and over. Do you know how to say anything else? Doesn't matter whether I do or not. I genuinely don't have $600,000. Sophia got angry. You make over $10,000 a month and you've been working for years. How could you have no money, even if it's not enough? What's wrong with asking your family to chip in? I calmly replied. You know perfectly well whether I have money or not. Sure, I make over $10,000 a month, but have you ever considered the expenses? You don't even have a job. Everything you spend comes from me, and you spend lavishly too. Holiday gifts, trips, trendy check-in spots, you never skip any of it. Do you really think I could save money like that? Sophia became even angrier. Oh wow, now you're looking down on me for not having a job and not making money. You really don't have a job. Sophia became even more furious. Women are supposed to spend money. Only incapable men complain about women not working. I wasn't comply. Forget it. Yeah, I'm just an incapable man. Sophia became even more furious. We're not even married yet and you're already keeping score this clearly. If we actually got married, would you start recording every expense in a little notebook? I'm not settling accounts with you. I'm just explaining that I genuinely don't have $600,000. Besides, my parents are ordinary salaried workers back in our hometown. They already spent everything they had to buy me a house in this city. There's no way they can subsidize me anymore. Sophia sneered. At the end of the day, you just refuse to pay this $600,000. Huh? It's not that I refuse, it's that I literally can't. Same thing. Fine, if you won't pay it. Plenty of other men will. This time, I got angry. What? So from the sound of it, you've already got a backup guy. Sophia's smile turned even colder. Whether I have a backup guy or not is none of your business. Believe it or not, if I announced right now that I'm single, the men willing to pay $600,000 for me could line up all the way to the moon. So, break up, Sophia declared decisively. I absolutely refuse to end up worse off than my best friend, and I absolutely refuse to stay with a loser. I stood up without the slightest intention of stopping her. In that case, please leave my house now. We broke up without a shred of hesitation. She ate my food, drank my drinks, lived in my house, and in the end somehow I became the loser. Even after she left, she still arrogantly sent me a message. Loser. Like I'd care about staying in your crappy 2-bedroom apartment. Even if you begged me to stay, do you think I'd agree? I quickly replied. Oh wow. How would a loser like me dare ask you to stay? After all, the men chasing you could line up all the way to the moon. Maybe someday one of them will build you a giant mansion on the moon that'd finally match your status. Cut the sarcastic crap. You'll regret this someday. I almost burst out laughing as I replied. I already regret it now. I regret that from now on, when we go shopping, no one will force me to carry bags anymore. I regret coming home to an empty apartment where I can only kill time playing all the games I used to want to play but never had time for. I regret it so much that I'm going to spend every cent I used to spend on you entirely on myself, and let carbs and fat punish me mercilessly. This time, Sophia didn't reply. I figured my method of self-punishment was probably too vicious and scared her. It wasn't until evening that Sophia finally posted a status update, a carefully edited selfie, paired with a caption. This one post is to officially inform everyone, I am officially back on the market. Status, available for sale, and absolutely no bargaining. Chapter 2. Now that's what you call confidence. Absolutely no bargaining. But seriously, she really was treating herself like a product now. Funny, considering she used to passionately swear that she hated men who objectified women the most. Only 5 minutes later. 5 minutes. Just 5 damn minutes. Sophia posted another status update. You can only meet the right person after leaving the wrong one. Thank you to that loser for not marrying me. Next one. Please remember to bring a 1 million bride price when you come knocking. Don't ask why. Because I'm worth it. Good lord. I was absolutely speechless. Just a few hours ago, she had raised the price from 600,000 to 1 million on the spot. Why couldn't she be a stock? I felt like I had just missed out on making 100 million. The next day, carrying the emotional devastation of missing out on 100 million, I went back to the company to continue my life as a corporate slave. Hello, senior. I'm Willow. A short-haired girl walked up to me and politely extended her hand. Oh, hello. I snapped out of my thoughts about never managing to catch a meme stock and shook her hand. At that moment, the technical director walked over and said, George, Willow is new here. Show her the ropes and help her get familiar with the company's technical architecture as soon as possible. Got it. I agreed verbally, but inwardly I resisted. Oh, so now you remember I'm one of the technical backbones of the company. Have you ever raised my salary all these years? Huh? I'm already busy to death every day, and now you want me to train a newcomer too. How is this any different from making a rooster lay eggs? Work that isn't mine still ends up becoming mine. Still, complaints aside, I actually didn't mind helping newcomers. After all, being a working corporate slave isn't easy for anyone. But a girl joining the tech department as a programmer, I'd bet she wouldn't last long. Willow, meanwhile, looked completely serious about becoming my apprentice and even gave me a dramatic formal bow. She looked adorably clueless. I felt a little bad. So at lunchtime I offered to treat her to food. Willow's eyes lit up. Really? Senior, why are you treating me? Is it because you like me? I was speechless. Hey, don't be such a cringe queen. Willow hurriedly explained. I mean, you really like me as your apprentice, right? That kind of like is friendship, not romance. Senior, what are you thinking about? Can you not be so cringe? I was speechless again. Fine, I surrendered. Willow had a great personality, lively, funny, and naturally likable. If she actually stayed in the tech department, she really could bring some joy to the group of secretly awkward male programmers there. So I took Willow downstairs to the CBD food court for duck blood vermicelli soup. While we were eating, President Koo suddenly appeared. Did the sun rise in the west today? This young, handsome, filthy rich CEO actually showed up at a humble duck vermicelli soup stall. I greeted him immediately. Hello, President Koo. President Koo replied with his usual cold expression. Hello. Then he glanced at Willow, who was stuffing food into her mouth like she hadn't eaten in days, but said nothing. You two continue. I'm just passing by. Don't mind me. After saying that, President Koo left. Why are you so polite to him? Willow asked me. Seriously, he's the company president. Of course I have to be polite. As for you, you were too busy eating to even notice. I thought for a moment, then teased her. But I guess it's not your fault. You just joined the company, so you don't know who he is yet. Did you notice? He kept staring at you for a really long time just now. Don't tell me he's fallen for you. Willow spat out a mouthful of soup and waved her hands frantically like a complete goofball. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The following days passed fairly normally. Other than having one adorably clueless female apprentice around and gaining a bit more entertainment in daily life, nothing much changed. Instead, Sophia's social media posts started getting weirder and weirder. After previously telling men to come knocking with a 1 million bride price, she suddenly posted another update. What I want isn't a 1 million bride price. It's an attitude. If a man isn't even willing to show sincerity, what right does he have to say he loves you? The attached picture matched the caption perfectly. A cup of coffee and an inspirational self-help book titled Women Don't Settle. I guessed that after waiting an entire month without anyone coming to knock, she was now desperately trying to save face. Chapter 3. More time passed, and Sophia posted another photo, this time a mirror selfie surrounded by luxury products. Suddenly realized I really wasn't ruthless enough with myself before. As women, if we're unwilling to invest in ourselves and raise our own value, how will men ever understand our worth? Rewarded myself today with a full La Mer skincare set plus a limited edition designer bag. I clicked my tongue repeatedly after seeing it. Someone with no income could still afford things that expensive. No need to think about it, she had definitely maxed out her credit cards. A few months later, Willow officially graduated from being my apprentice. With my help, she had not only quickly familiarized herself with the company's product architecture, but also fully understood the operational logic behind the business. That weekend, Willow invited me to meet at a café, saying she wanted to properly thank me. I rode my little electric scooter there and saw a brand new Porsche parked outside the entrance. TSK, being rich really is nice, I sighed. When I entered the café, I found Willow already waiting for me. Senior, over here, she waved at me. I walked over and sat down. Suddenly, Willow put on a serious expression and clasped her fists dramatically toward me. Senior, I will never forget the guidance you've given me these past days. Someday, Willow shall definitely repay this kindness. Even though she looked exactly like one of those loyal and righteous heroines from martial arts novels, I absolutely wasn't buying it, because in my heart, she was basically just a goofy girl. I couldn't handle her acting this serious. Cut it out already. Since you've learned everything, stop bothering me so much from now on. I could use some peace and quiet too. To my surprise, Willow's eyes suddenly dimmed. Senior, do you find me annoying? You can't wait for me to leave, right? Seeing her like that actually made me feel a little guilty, but remembering her personality, she was probably setting another trap for me, so I heartlessly replied. Wouldn't say annoying, but your senior here is very busy. You've seen it yourself. I work like a slave every day just for a few scraps of silver, and that heartless boss still refuses to give me a raise. Willow laughed and returned to her usual cheerful self. Looks like that President Ku really is a heartless boss. A hardworking and responsible technical backbone like you, who's even willing to help newcomers, only earning this little. That's definitely too much. Hearing her mention President Ku, I smiled. Complaints aside, I actually admire President Ku quite a bit. At such a young age, he's already one of the major figures in the gaming industry. That's honestly impressive. Willow sounded unconvinced. He's only benefiting from his family background. His starting point was already way higher than everyone else's. If Senior had been given the same platform, you'd definitely be better than him. I froze slightly. I agreed with half of what she said. I was confident in my own abilities. I believed that if I ever met someone willing to recognize my talent, I should also be capable of building a successful career. But I didn't agree with her opinion of President Ku. Sure, his starting point was high, but reaching his current position definitely wasn't something a useless person could accomplish. That's not fair to say. President Ku is actually pretty capable, I said with a smile. And from the way you're talking, you seem to know him really well. Don't tell me you've fallen for him. Huh? Fallen for him? Me? Willow looked utterly bewildered. Yeah, President Ku is such an outstanding young elite. What woman wouldn't be tempted? If I were a woman, I'd fall for him too. Willow once again waved her hands exaggeratedly. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. I could like anyone and still never like him. After pausing for a moment, she lowered her head shyly. Besides, I already like someone else. I found it a little strange. Willow's reaction was way too intense. Could she possibly have some kind of grudge against President Ku? Right at that moment, a familiar figure suddenly appeared inside the cafe. It was actually Sophia. Chapter 4. She saw me too, and a mocking smile immediately appeared on her face. Well, if it isn't my loser ex-boyfriend. What's this? Found yourself a new girl already? That was fast. But a loser who can't even come up with 600,000 still has the nerve to date. After saying that, she turned to Willow with fake concern. Little sister, you should really stay away from him. He's broke and stingy. I originally had no intention of arguing with her, but the moment she started harassing my female colleague, I couldn't tolerate it anymore. Just as I was about to fire back, Willow beat me to it. Broke? He's not broke at all. And George is super generous too. He just bought me a Porsche. A Porsche? Sophia looked completely shocked. Even I felt embarrassed. Willow's bluff was way too outrageous. Sure, I knew she was trying to help me save face, but for a guy riding around on a tiny electric scooter, there was absolutely no way I could carry the weight of the word Porsche. Sure enough, Sophia immediately burst into a sarcastic laugh. He. Little sister, you're pretty good at protecting his pride, but you dare to brag like that. Does he dare admit it? After saying that, Sophia looked straight at me. I instantly fell into a dilemma. If I denied it, I'd basically be slapping Willow in the face on the spot. But if I didn't deny it, the truth would be exposed the moment we walked outside, and Sophia would become even more smug. Right then, Willow suddenly wrapped her arm around mine and leaned her head against my shoulder. George, I'm so hungry. Can you take me to eat something? Before I could even answer, she pulled me toward the exit. For a moment, my mind started wandering. Willow's faint fragrance drifted toward me, leaving me completely flustered. A ridiculous thought suddenly appeared in my head. If she really were my girlfriend, that honestly wouldn't be so bad. Lost in those distracting thoughts, I followed Willow outside the cafe. Just as I was about to pull away, Willow whispered softly, "Don't move. Your ex is definitely watching us." Then she suddenly pulled out a car key. Unlock. Open door. Smooth and effortless. By the time I sat in the passenger seat, my brain still hadn't processed what was happening. Wait, you actually have one? Willow instantly switched back into goofy mode. Of course, bro. Of course I do. Through the car window, I could see Sophia on the verge of losing her mind inside the cafe. While eating dinner with Willow, Sophia kept spamming me with messages. My phone vibrated nonstop. but I didn't even glance at it. Willow smiled teasingly. Your ex is messaging you. Aren't you going to reply? Nope. The fact that I haven't blocked her already is me being merciful. Then why not block her? Can't do that yet. I'm still waiting to watch her become a joke. So I told Willow the reason Sophia and I had broken up. Right in the middle of our conversation, Sophia directly called me. I hung up and switched my phone to silent mode. Maybe you should answer it, Willow said with a grin. Nope. Tonight is our private time together. The moment I said it, I realized something felt off. That sounded way too intimate. Sure enough, even Willow, who was usually carefree and shameless, blushed after hearing it. That night, after returning home, I checked my phone. Sophia had already sent over 99 messages, and she was still non-stop calling me. I finally answered. Sophia's voice immediately exploded from the other end. George, what were you doing with her just now? Why weren't you replying to my messages? Who the hell are you to question what I'm doing? I just want to ask, was what that woman said true? Did you really buy her a Porsche? Chapter 5. Looking at how furious Sophia was, I felt unbelievably satisfied. Even though this was all just a misunderstanding, I absolutely didn't mind using Willow's Porsche to get a little revenge on Sophia. Yep, I bought it for her. Problem. How could you possibly afford that? Weren't you the same guy who couldn't even come up with $600,000 for a bride price? Sophia, haven't you ever heard the saying, fortune shifts with time? As one of the company's technical backbones, my years of hard work finally paid off. The company gave me stock incentives. Okay, you know our company is pretty strong within the industry. High market value, valuable shares. So now you're financially free. Not quite at that level yet, but close enough. I lied so smoothly my heartbeat didn't even change. The moment Sophia heard that, she shamelessly replied. George, when we broke up, it wasn't because I didn't love you, but back then, you couldn't even give me any sense of security. You should understand that my standard has always been a 1 million bride price, but at the time I only asked you for 600,000. And why was that? Wasn't it because I treasured our relationship? Wow. Thanks so much for your generosity. But what exactly are you trying to say? Can we get back together? I know you still love me in your heart. We can't get back together, and I don't love you anymore either. She refused to believe it. No. Stop lying to yourself. After all these years together, how could you possibly let go just like that? I replied. No. Stop lying to yourself. After all those years together, I turned around and got a new girlfriend immediately. Obviously I can let go. Then I delivered the finishing blow. Honestly, it's mainly because I'm not worthy of you. What's a Porsche anyway? Only a mansion on the moon is worthy of someone like you. Forget a moon mansion. Even my hometown neighbor's grandnephew's 7th grandaunt's grandmother stayed single until she was 80 because she refused to settle. And in the end Ultraman fell for her. I heard the bride price was the entire M87 Nebula. Get lost. Sophia immediately heard the sarcasm in my voice. If we're not getting back together, then fine. Stop acting all sarcastic. You really think I can't find someone better than you? It's just a stupid Porsche. I chuckled. There you go again. Getting emotional. I'm only thinking about what's best for you. Cut the fake nice guy act. Just wait and see. After shouting that angrily, Sophia hung up the phone. Amazing. It felt freaking amazing. The moment she thought I had money, she shamelessly came crawling back asking to reconcile. I honestly couldn't tell whether she was stupid herself or just assumed everyone else was stupid too. A month later, I arrived at the company one morning and immediately received depressing news. Willow had left. Her desk had already been completely cleaned out, and nobody knew where she had gone. I felt unexpectedly uncomfortable. Even though I'd long suspected she wouldn't stay very long, when she actually left, it still felt strangely sad. I sent her a message. Where did you go? You left without even saying goodbye. Willow replied. Didn't have time. Senior, are you reluctant to see me leave? I froze for a moment, unsure how to answer. After a long pause, I replied. At the very least, I should know where you went and what your plans are from now on. Senior, stop changing the subject. What I asked was, are you unwilling to let me go? I suddenly felt conflicted. Willow, why do you have to ask it like that? Yeah, I don't want you to leave. After all, I worked hard to train you myself. Such a big apprentice just leaving like that. Senior, is that all your reluctance amounts to? Just master and apprentice feelings? Otherwise, I guess so. It either is or it isn't. What do you mean by, I guess so? I froze for a moment. Yeah, why did I say, I guess so? Chapter 6. Not knowing how to answer, I started acting shamelessly. You little brat, I never should have asked you anything. After sending that message, I angrily tossed my phone aside, but Willow refused to let it go. George, is it possible that what you feel isn't master-apprentice affection, but love? I froze instantly. My reluctance to let her go was love. No way. Right. I definitely liked Willow. but I'd never thought about it in that way before, especially after learning she was the kind of woman who drove a Porsche. There was no way I'd dare try to reach above my station. But then why? When she asked that question, did I hesitate internally instead of denying it immediately? And even stranger, when I replied, I somehow didn't deny it either. I only responded, "Well played, Willow. So now you're not even calling me senior anymore. You stopped pretending the moment you left." This time, Willow took a long while before replying. "Senior is just a respectful title between coworkers, but I don't want our relationship to stay at the coworker level only. Also, I didn't actually leave." I instantly froze. Didn't leave? Could it be that she was still at the company and had only transferred departments? For some reason, a trace of secret joy appeared in my heart. Soon afterward, the company released an official announcement. Willow had transferred to the product operations department as the director's assistant, and the appointment notice hadn't even gone through HR, it had been issued directly by the executive office. I couldn't help feeling curious. A newcomer getting promoted straight to director's assistant was already outrageous enough, and the notice had personally come from the executive office. Could this have been President Ku's decision? I remembered the strange way President Ku had stared at Willow that day, and I became even more convinced. He definitely had feelings for her. Damn, a domineering CEO falling for the cute new employee. What was this? Some romance novel? Though to be fair, Willow drove a Porsche, so her family background was probably excellent anyway. She and President Ku actually did seem well matched. Thinking that, I unexpectedly felt a trace of disappointment. That feeling stayed with me all afternoon, stirring my thoughts so badly that I couldn't focus on work at all. In the end, I simply took leave and went to wander around the park by myself. With an empty mind and no destination, I walked aimlessly until I somehow arrived at the city's matchmaking corner. A matchmaking event was being held there. My gloomy mood instantly faded, replaced by pure spectator excitement, because I actually saw Sophia there. She was standing proudly with a sign in her hands. Bride price, $1.88 million. Symbolizing fortune and prosperity, not 1 cent less. Marital home. Luxury flat inside the city's second ring road, no smaller than 200 square meters, fully paid with no mortgage, and must include my name on the deed. Wedding car. Must cost no less than $1 million after tax. For my personal daily use, preferably a Porsche Panamera. Additional requirements. Male must be at least 180 centimeters tall. Annual income no less than $5 million. And after marriage all income must be handed over to me. Also, I will not work after marriage. You will be responsible for earning money and supporting the family, while I will be responsible for being beautiful. As for her own qualifications, occupation, freelancer/travel influencer/baking expert. Hobbies, traveling, photography, baking, flower arranging, daily lifestyle, coffee shops, trendy restaurant hopping, exhibitions, taking aesthetic atmosphere photos. Personality, sweet yet cool, loves small animals, independent but not domineering. I'm a girl who loves life, pursues quality, and refuses to settle. If you think you're worthy of someone like me, feel free to come talk. Chapter 7. Good Lord. Watching from afar, I couldn't stop muttering "Good Lord" to myself. She really dared to dream big, really dared to ask for all that. At this point, I was pretty sure all the self-investment she'd been doing lately had already buried her deep in debt. The more satisfying the spending felt, the more painful the credit card bill would be when repayment day arrived. Coming to a matchmaking corner now, she was obviously trying to find someone to bail her out financially. Otherwise, with her arrogance, there was no way she'd willingly show up at a public matchmaking event like this. To be fair, Sophia wasn't the only woman here dreaming impossible dreams. The whole place had the atmosphere of immortals gathering in endless numbers, but even among them, Sophia was especially eye-catching. Sure enough, it didn't take long before she started attracting ridicule. The single men at the event were actually fairly polite. Most of them just frowned, shook their heads, and walked away without wasting a single word. But the older aunties and uncles who came on behalf of their children were nowhere near as merciful. Heh, I've seen plenty of girls like this. Every single one demands more outrageous conditions than the last. To put it bluntly, they have no idea what their own value actually is. Let's go. Let's go. Don't waste time looking. Girls like this, give her a few more years and even divorced men with kids won't want her. As the crowd whispered among themselves, the arrogance on Sophia's face gradually disappeared, replaced instead by anger. What the hell does it have to do with you people? She shouted loudly. The older crowd immediately scattered. After yelling at them, Sophia caught sight of me from the corner of her eye, and the atmosphere instantly became awkward. I originally didn't plan on talking to her, but she started running her mouth first. Well, if it isn't my heartless ex-boyfriend, what are you doing here? By the way, where's your new girlfriend? Don't tell me she took your car and dumped you already. He. Since she opened fire first, I didn't bother being polite anymore. What am I doing here? I heard there was someone here broad daylight dreaming out loud about million-dollar bride prices and Porsche Panameras. So I came to watch the show. Sophia's face instantly darkened. You came here to laugh at me? How could that be? I just wanted to see who was over here dreaming. Wait a second. The number on your sign, holy crap. It went up again. 188 million now. So what if it did? Sophia replied confidently. With my qualifications, is 188 million really that much? Even someone like Maria could ask for 300,000. So what's wrong with me asking for 188 million? Not much at all. Not much at all. I'm just curious, if the men willing to spend money on you can supposedly line up all the way to the moon, then why are you here at the matchmaking corner? Sophia immediately looked awkward and started stammering. My friend dragged me here. I'm mostly just accompanying my friend. Oh, accompanying your friend? I gave her a meaningful look before continuing. Then carry on. I was just passing by anyway. Wouldn't want to disturb you. Oh, right. This is a matchmaking corner, not a wishing fountain. If you want to make wishes, you should probably go to a temple instead. Mind your own damn business. Sophia completely lost it and screamed. Chapter 8. After leaving the matchmaking corner, my mood improved quite a bit. Right at that moment, Willow called me again. I heard you took the afternoon off. Are you feeling sick? Where are you? I'm not sick. I just had some personal matters to deal with. So I took leave. Oh, that's good then. By the way, I got promoted to director's assistant. Let's go celebrate tonight. I froze for a moment. After thinking carefully, I replied. No, not tonight. I've got some things to handle today. Another time. You said you didn't want me to leave, but now that I've gotten promoted, you're hiding and refusing to show up. It's not like that. I really am busy today. Another time. Okay. Fine then. Looks like I'll just have to go have fun by myself tonight. After hanging up, I silently decided that I needed to keep some distance from her in the future to avoid misunderstandings between us. Someone with her background and status simply wasn't someone I could reach. That night, after returning home, I showered and had just laid down when Sophia suddenly sent me a message. George, who would have thought your little girlfriend was quite the character too? She acts all innocent, but she's actually pretty wild underneath. Did you know she's cheating on you behind your back? I froze for a second. Little girlfriend. Oh, she meant Willow. She's partying hard at the bar right now. Oh, that guy's pulling on her again. TSK. George, looks like that Porsche was wasted. Did you really think many women would sincerely care about you the way I did? How about this? I'll give you one chance to regret everything. If you ask me now, I'll get back together with you. I immediately thought, no thanks. Absolutely not. I wouldn't dare accept that opportunity. So I replied. Aren't you being a little too nosy? Sophia sent a shocked emoji. George, I didn't realize you were this open-minded. She's cheating on you, and I kindly tell you about it, but somehow I'm the nosy one. I couldn't be bothered responding to Sophia anymore. Willow wasn't my girlfriend, so however she chose to spend her time outside was completely her freedom. But after lying down, I couldn't calm my thoughts. What if, and I mean what if, the man pulling her was some kind of thug or creep? The moment that thought appeared, I immediately sat upright and decided to go check on her. The moment I arrived outside the bar, I saw him standing with his back toward me, forcefully dragging Willow toward a car. Meanwhile, Willow was desperately clutching the car door frame, refusing to get inside no matter what. I instantly exploded with anger. What kind of disgusting thug dared force Willow into a car? Without hesitation, I sprinted forward and launched a flying kick. Right before my foot connected, Willow suddenly looked horrified and yanked the man backward instead. I missed completely, and the man turned around. Holy crap, President Coup. After a brief moment of shock, I became even angrier and immediately pulled Willow protectively behind me. President Coup, I never thought you were this kind of person. President Coup frowned. What exactly did I do? It's fine if you like Willow, but you can't use methods like this. This time, President Coup looked stunned. He stayed silent for 2 seconds instead of explaining. Then his expression turned cold. George, you almost kicked me just now, all because of Willow. Aren't you afraid I'll fire you? You don't need to fire me. A person like you isn't someone I'd continue working for anyway. After saying that, I felt a trace of disappointment deep inside. That talented young elite I once admired so much had completely collapsed in my eyes. I, George, a proud grown man, actually mistook a disgusting creep for my idol. Chapter 9. George, so this is your boss. Sophia suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Looking at the handsome President Coup, she gave him a flirtatious smile. Don't worry, brother, I can testify for you. Then her expression turned cold as she pointed at Willow. It was all this slut's fault. She was the one shamelessly seducing you. None of this has anything to do with you. Willow frowned. Brother, Who exactly are you calling brother? Even President Ku looked confused as he stared at Sophia. And you are? Hello, brother. My name is Sophia. I saw everything just now. She was the one desperately clinging to you, though I suppose it's understandable. Someone as handsome as you would naturally make women fall for you. After speaking in a sickeningly sweet voice, Sophia suddenly changed tone and sneered. But other women falling for you is one thing. This shameless woman is another. She already has a boyfriend and still comes running around pestering other men. She really has no shame. After saying that, she looked at me. Don't you agree, George? I snapped angrily. Watch your mouth, Willow and I. Sophia immediately cut me off before I could explain. What's wrong with my mouth? She's your girlfriend. Yet she's out here bothering other men. Am I wrong for calling her out? Hearing that, President Ku narrowed his eyes and looked toward me. Girlfriend. For a moment, I didn't know how to explain. But after thinking about it carefully, I suddenly realized, why the hell should I explain anything? One was a disgusting creep. The other was a gold digger. Why should I waste energy explaining myself to either of them? So I boldly stepped in front of Willow. That's right, she's my girlfriend. Got a problem with that? From Willow's previous attitude whenever President Ku was mentioned, I could fall for anyone except him, combined with tonight's behavior. It was obvious she truly had zero feelings for him. In that case, I might as well temporarily pretend to be her boyfriend so President Ku would stop bothering her in the future. Willow probably understood that I was only saying this to help her out of the situation. But honestly, she played along perfectly. She wrapped her arm around mine and said, "That's right, I'm his girlfriend." Even though I knew we were only acting, hearing those words still made my heart flutter. Sophia let out a cold laugh. George, since you admit she's your girlfriend now, then please keep a tighter leash on her in the future. Don't let her run around acting thirsty and seducing outstanding men like. Before Sophia could finish speaking, slap. A loud smack landed directly across her face. Willow withdrew her hand and snapped angrily. Gold-digging witch, watch your filthy mouth. I've tolerated you long enough. Sophia looked completely stunned after being slapped. The moment she regained her senses, she shrieked and raised her claws, ready to rush at Willow in a cat fight. But at the same time, two male figures stepped protectively in front of Willow, me, and President Ku. Sophia froze again. She screamed at President Ku. Brother, I got slapped because I was defending you. Why are you protecting her? Don't tell me you still have feelings for her, brother. She's George's girlfriend. Don't lower yourself for a woman like this. President Ku frowned. First of all, my name is Gideon Ku. If necessary, you may address me by my name. Stop calling me brother. Secondly, he glanced at Willow. She's my younger sister, and my only younger sister. She's the only one allowed to call me brother. Younger sister. This time, not only Sophia, even I was completely dumbfounded. Yes, my biological younger sister. President Ku said calmly. But your surname is Ku, and hers is Lu, I said. Utterly confused. She took our mother's surname. President Ku explained. Willow looked at the dumbstruck Sophia and curled her lips into a mocking smile. You were desperately trying to call him brother without even checking whether he acknowledged you or not. For a second there, I almost thought my family had suddenly gained an illegitimate child. Sophia's entire face turned bright red with humiliation. She shot Willow one furious glare before turning around and running away. Chapter 10. I looked at President Ku. So, what exactly were you two doing tonight? President Ku replied calmly. I didn't approve of her coming to a place like this, so I was trying to take her home. She refused no matter what. That's all. This. Even in my wildest dreams, I never imagined the truth would be like this. She stubbornly refused to leave a place like that. President Ku narrowed his eyes suspiciously at me like he was looking at a thief. Don't tell me she was waiting for you. No. Listen to my explanation. Actually, the relationship between us isn't. George. Willow directly interrupted me. It's getting late. You should head home now. I'm going back with my brother too. After saying that, she dragged President Ku into the car. What the hell even is this situation? They were actually biological siblings. And I had almost flying kicked President Ku in the face. It was all Sophia's fault, sending nonsense messages without understanding the situation at all. Still, I could understand Sophia's thought process. The reason she claimed Willow would cheat on me was simply because she wanted to destroy my relationship with Willow so she'd have a chance to reconcile with me herself. After all, in her mind, I had already become a financially free millionaire. Then the moment she discovered President Ku was my boss, she immediately assumed she had found an even better target. That was why she kept insisting Willow and I were dating, to make President Ku give up on Willow while simultaneously trying to gain his favor herself. That way, she'd have a chance with him. Too bad for her. After all her schemes and calculations, she never imagined they were actual siblings. Honestly, considering the way she insulted Willow, the fact that President Ku didn't slap her himself already showed incredible restraint. The next morning, the moment I arrived at the company, I immediately received a notice asking me to report to President Ku's office. I instantly started muttering nervously to myself, why was he calling me over? Could it be that Willow never properly explained our relationship to him last night? Wait a second, was this about to turn into one of those cheesy TV drama scenes where the CEO throws a blank check at me and says, fill in any amount you want, just leave my sister? No, hold on, why the hell was I daydreaming in broad daylight now too? The more likely explanation was that President Ku wanted to deal with me for almost kicking him yesterday. As for my relationship with Willow, she definitely must have explained everything already, so I straightened my back and mentally hyped myself up. Pull yourself together, don't embarrass yourself. Besides, it's not like I actually kicked him, and even if I had, so what? A misunderstanding shouldn't count against someone. Back then, I genuinely thought he was some disgusting creep. But then again, what if he's petty and insists on getting revenge? Whatever. Worst case scenario, I just get fired. With all those chaotic thoughts swirling through my head, I arrived outside the president's office. President Ku still wore the same serious expression he always had. Willow already explained your relationship to me. Oh, that's good then. Even though my mouth said, that's good, my heart screamed that things were bad. Since the relationship issue had already been clarified, then the only reason he called me here had to be because I nearly kicked him yesterday. Sure enough, President Ku continued the next second. You've been at this company quite a long time already. You're practically one of the veterans here. Keeping you in your current position any longer really isn't appropriate. Alright, what was coming had finally come. So he really was going to fire me. My temper flared instantly, and I cut him off before he could continue. President Ku, don't say another word. I resign voluntarily. What a joke. If he fired me, how humiliating would that be? If I resigned myself, then technically I'd be the one firing him instead. Chapter 11. President Ku froze. Resign. Why would you resign? I froze too. Wait, weren't you about to lay me off? President Ku looked at me like I was an idiot. Who said anything about laying you off? I'm transferring you to a different position. Most of the company's management team doesn't come from technical backgrounds, which causes all kinds of unexpected problems in product operations. Sometimes they even make things worse instead of better. What I want is a member of management who actually understands technology. You understand what I mean, right? I nodded deeply in agreement. I'd long been disgusted by those corporate bureaucrats who only knew how to talk big. Honestly speaking, those people sometimes failed at accomplishing anything useful while still somehow making everything worse. President Ku, are you saying? President Ku nodded. You're transferring to the product operations department as director. Willow will remain your assistant and support your work. Seeing me stay silent, President Ku asked, what's wrong? No confidence. How could that be? I immediately straightened up proudly. I'm confident. Then why were you silent for so long? What were you thinking about? I was thinking that when you originally arranged for Willow to join the tech department, your intention was probably to help her understand the product's underlying technical logic, train her into a technically knowledgeable manager, and then eventually let her take charge in operations. Right, if I go to the operations department now, wouldn't that mean I'm stealing her future? For once, President Ku actually smiled. You really do care about her quite a bit. You're right. That was indeed my original plan when I sent her to the tech department to learn from you. But that doesn't conflict with you transferring over there now. She's still a little inexperienced and can't shoulder responsibilities that heavy yet. I immediately stood straight and declared, in that case, I obey the company's arrangements. And just like that, I transferred to the product operations department as director, becoming Willow's partner. She was happy. I was even happier. The only difference was that she openly expressed it, while I pretended to stay calm and hid my feelings inside. As time passed, the tacit understanding between us grew deeper and deeper, and the deeper that understanding became, the more I discovered just how adorable Willow truly was. She wasn't fake or pretentious. She was straightforward and genuine. Even though she came from a wealthy family, she didn't have the slightest trace of princess syndrome. I could feel my emotions gradually being pulled along by her. Even though I constantly tried to remain rational and clear-headed, things still reached the point where not seeing her for even one day left me feeling strangely disappointed. She had casually asked me several times what kind of girl I liked. I almost blurted out, someone exactly like you. But considering the enormous difference between our backgrounds and status, those words ultimately never left my mouth. Chapter 12. After work that day, I took Willow to a small restaurant to eat some local specialties. While we were chatting and laughing, I suddenly spotted someone I hadn't seen in a very long time. Maria. Yes, the same Maria whom Sophia once claimed had received a 300,000 bride price. She was holding a newborn baby in her arms as she entered the restaurant with her husband, and she noticed me immediately. Oh wow, George, long time no see. She came over warmly to greet me. I politely greeted her back. Maria truly wasn't particularly beautiful, but her emotional intelligence was definitely high. The moment she saw Willow, she immediately complimented her. "This must be your girlfriend, right? She's absolutely gorgeous." Willow looked delighted after hearing that and politely greeted Maria as well. I looked at the baby in Maria's arms, then at the shy-looking man standing behind her. The two of them genuinely gave off the feeling of a happy little family. "Maria, looks like life's treating you pretty well," I said with a smile. "It's all right," Maria replied happily. "My husband treats me really well. Even though we're not wealthy, I'm already very satisfied." I teased her. "And here you are pretending to be poor when you've got a 300,000 bride price in your pocket. You're way richer than me." Hearing that, Maria suddenly looked awkward. "What 300,000 bride price? When I got married, I only asked for 10,000, but I don't regret it. As long as I can be with him, I'd still willingly marry him even without a single cent of bride price." The moment she said that, I almost sprayed my soda everywhere. "10,000. Yeah, what's wrong?" "No, wait, back then, didn't you tell Sophia that you received 300,000? The moment Sophia's name came up, Maria's expression darkened instantly. "I said it on purpose. Don't even mention her." "On purpose?" I looked completely confused. Even Willow perked up her ears immediately, looking like she'd just encountered premium gossip. "Yep," Maria replied without the slightest guilt. "George, don't blame me, but I absolutely did it on purpose." "I'm not blaming you. I'm just curious, why would you do that?" "Why?" Maria's face filled with resentment. "Sophia always claimed I was her best friend, but when did she ever truly treat me like one? Behind my back, she constantly told people I was ugly, that I wasn't as pretty as her, that my figure wasn't as good as hers. Did she ever consider how that made me feel? And the worst part, she even said that in the future, I'd be lucky if I could marry just anyone at all, so I shouldn't even dream about bride prices or anything like that." "George, tell me honestly, doesn't a person like that deserve to be hated?" I nodded. "Yeah, she absolutely did. The foundation of friendship is mutual respect." And honestly, this wasn't the first time I'd heard Sophia talk about Maria that way. I had tried to persuade her before, but she confidently replied that Maria really wasn't pretty anyway, and that the fact any man liked her at all was already fortunate enough. Later, I met my husband, and I was the one who voluntarily asked for a low bride price. My husband's family isn't wealthy, so what would I want such a huge bride price for? But when I told Sophia it was 300,000, it was because I didn't want her looking down on me. Otherwise she'd definitely gossip behind my back again about how I wasn't worth much. "So it was only because you didn't want her looking down on you?" Maria's eyes shifted guiltily. "Not entirely, to be honest. I wanted revenge for how she trampled on my dignity. I figured that with how prideful and competitive she is, once she heard I supposedly got 300,000, she'd definitely demand 600,000 herself. And who would actually give that to her? Not to mention I recently heard she raised her bride price requirement to $188 million. She's completely insane, daydreaming out of her mind." After saying that, Maria looked embarrassed. "George, I'm really sorry. Back then, I didn't expect my lie would end up causing you two to break up." I waved my hand dismissively. It didn't matter anymore. Breaking up with Sophia was basically cutting my losses in time. With her personality, so obsessed with comparison, vanity, and keeping up appearances, if we'd actually stayed together, my future would have been miserable. But Maria's move was truly ruthless. She turned 10,000 into 300,000 and actually shorted Sophia with 30 times leverage. And the worst part was, the short sell had succeeded perfectly. Sophia now genuinely believed she was worth $1 million bride price and was wasting her youth trapped in unrealistic fantasies. Honestly, that qualified Maria as a pretty toxic best friend too. But the funniest part, later, Sophia accidentally heard the rumor that I had bought Willow a Porsche, and that completely shattered her mentally. No wonder her matchmaking requirements specifically demanded a Porsche. Without even realizing it, I had accidentally added another layer of leverage onto Sophia myself. My intentions weren't the same as Maria's, but the methods and results ended up almost identical. In short, Sophia had been completely shorted. Chapter 13. After leaving the little restaurant, Willow noticed I had gone quiet and asked what I was thinking about. "Don't tell me you're thinking about your ex-girlfriend again." I stopped walking and smiled. "I am thinking about her, but only about how foolish she is. I never imagined she'd ruin her own life over a lie like that." Willow pouted dismissively. She doesn't need your concern. She's doing just fine." I shook my head. "You don't know this, but her credit cards are overdue now. She's drowning in online loan debt, and debt collection calls are blowing up her phone every day. Yet she's still dreaming about some guy showing up with a $1 million bride price to bail her out." Willow's expression became complicated. "What? Are you feeling sorry for her?" "Sorry my ass. I already blocked every single way she could contact me. Willow snorted softly. Actually, 1 million really isn't that much. I laughed helplessly. What kind of outrageous rich person statement is that? Then again, you are a woman who owns a Porsche and the precious little sister of a domineering CEO. To you, 1 million probably really isn't much. Speaking of which, when exactly are you going to ask your brother to give me a raise? I'm already a director and my salary still hasn't increased at all. Your brother is seriously a heartless boss. Willow pressed her lips together and smiled. I actually did bring it up before, my brother said. Why would family members need salary raises? Family members? I stared blankly at her. Yep. Oh right. I forgot to tell you. Tomorrow you're coming to my house for dinner. My parents officially invited you. After all, they should meet my boyfriend eventually. I instantly panicked. No matter how I thought about it, something felt very wrong. Wait, didn't you already explain our relationship clearly to your brother that day? Yep, I explained it very clearly. How exactly did you explain it? I told him you're my boyfriend. I was speechless. Willow, this isn't some kind of trap, is it? Is the whole point just to avoid giving me a raise? Think whatever you want. Willow grinned proudly. Anyway, I've already decided I'm sticking with you for life. No way. Your brother absolutely has to give me a raise.